Okay, so here it is, my whole post-flop strategy revealed. I kind of break up hands post-flop into four categories. And this is for the situation where I'm in button or the cutoff, I raise pre-flop, and I get a call from the big blind, right? It's that situation. I'm in late position, I'm in the driver's seat. So yeah, there's four types of hands I would categorize. So first type is good hands. I'm going to bet for value. And so I'd say any hand that is top pair with a 10 or higher kicker, sometimes jack or higher, 10's borderline, but so for instance, king jack, right, on this board, okay, that's top pair with a good kicker. So I'm going to bet that for value. Pair of aces, even better. Um, and pocket sevens is actually really good, right? I just made three of a kind. I just made a set of sevens. So definitely betting that for value. Okay. Next category of hands is medium strength hands, and I'm going to check call with these. So, an eight, that's second pair. King four suited, that's top pair, but the kicker's weak. Um, Pocket tens, right? That's a tier two hand, right? It's better than ace eight, but it's closer to ace eight than it is to king four. All of these hands are hands that are too good to fold, but not strong enough to bet. Um, if I bet, I may elicit a call from a better hand. If I bet king four, somebody with king six suited might call me. That sucks. So I'm gonna check and wait for the other guy to act on the turn, see what he does, reevaluate then. Uh, I'm definitely not folding though, right? Okay, so then there are hands that I'm going to bluff, draws that I'm going to bluff. There's my cat. Say hi, cat. All right. Uh, so, um, so for instance, there's two hearts out here. So any two hearts, that's going to be a flush draw, right? So this I would definitely bet as a draw. Um, and then 5 6, right? 5 6 7 8, that makes a straight draw. A 9 is good. A 4 is good. That's a draw. I'm gonna bluff my draws. You have to bluff sometimes, because if you never do that, everybody's gonna know when you bet you have a good hand, right? So my reasoning for bluffing draws is that since you have to bluff sometimes anyway, you may as well bluff with a hand that sucks for the time being, right? 6 5 is garbage on this board, right? If it doesn't improve, it's like one of the lowest hands you could possibly have. But it could improve, right? You could bluff, you get called and you're like, well, that sucks. And then you go to the turn and it's a 4, boom, you just made your hand, right? You're going to bluff sometimes. You may as well bluff with hands that have the potential to improve. That's my case for bluffing your draws. Okay, and then the last category of hands is hands that just miss the flop and they're complete garbage. So, like, Queen 5 suited is a good hand pre-flop, but on this board, no pair, no draw, there's no spades here. So, I'm going to check, I'm not going to just muck my cards, but if he bets at all, I'm out of here, right? So it's check fold, Queen 10. Once again, solid hand pre-flop, but on this board, it just missed. You don't have a draw. You don't have a pair. So yeah, any aggression, I'm out of here, right? Okay, going to the turn. Oh yeah, by the way, so when I go to the turn, these hands are in these four categories now. They can move in and out of different categories based on the cards that come out. So anyway, here comes the turn, and it's a jack. So one thing that just happened is this king jack just it was already a good hand. Now it's a really good hand. Right now it's two pair. So it's definitely staying here. Pair of aces is still good. Sevens is great. It's the best hand we have. So nothing changes here. Over here, these are the hands I checked the flop with, right? So if we go to the turn and the other guy checks the turn as well, I'm going to move this king 4 over to the value betting range. If the flop checks through, I bet all my tier 1 hands on the turn. I'll bet all my top pairs, right? Even though in king deuce, I'll bet for value here. So you can start moving some of these hands over here, right? These two, I'm still going to check call and reevaluate on the river. Okay, my draws. I think I'm still probably going to keep bluffing with these. They didn't get worse. there are some draws you want to give up with. I wish I had actually chosen one of those at the beginning. Hold on, let me find one. Let's say I'd had come on now. Let's say I'd had 5-4 diamonds pre-flop. So that'd be a hand where I'd probably bluff the flop, right, when this jack's not here. Because you have a gut shot, a 6 gives you the straight. And on top of that, there's one diamond there, so another diamond gives you a flush draw to go with it. That bricked off. You could still hit the 6, but I tend to give up on gut shots on the turn. But flush draws and open-enders, I'm still bluffing. So those are good. Funny thing about the trash, so this is still trash. This actually just turned into a bluff, right? 10 queen, 10 jack, queen king is an open-ender. So I'm going to move this into my bluff pile, right? If I checked and he checks back, well, I'm going to go ahead and bluff this. Or if I check and he bets, I might raise. Or I might call and try to bluff on the river. Okay, anyway, go into the river. One second, I had a card specifically picked out for the river. Okay. Okay, so that's the river. So that just completed the flush, right? So cool thing is, one of these bluffs just turned into a value bet. So this queen 9 is no longer a bluff, it's a value bet. Okay, so I'm betting that for value. Yeah, ace is still probably good to bet. I mean, you also have the ace of hearts, so you just made it less likely that somebody else has the flush. It's still a tier 1 hand because there's only 3 to a flush out here. There's not 4 to a flush. 4 to a flush changes everything. 3 to a flush, you have to be careful. If you sense aggression, that is, that's a tell that it's a sign that the other guy might have the flush, but it's still not so common that you should be terrified, right? 2 pairs still pretty good. Trips is still pretty good. This is, well, this just became 2 pair, actually, funny enough. So if this were something else, this were like king deuce, remember this is the scenario where we check the flop, then the turn, the other guy checks, and you're like, okay, well, this hand with a crappy kicker just became a value bet. So if that had been like a 2 or something and the other guy still checked, you could still go for value here. These I'm probably still gonna check. If I had like a jack, if I had a tier 2 hand, so if it checks all the way through to the river and nobody's bet, I'll bet my tier 2 hands, right? If you want to bet a tier 3 hand, I guess it's not the end of the world, but you have to dodge a lot of stuff here, right? So you got to dodge the flush. You have to dodge a straight. 9-10 is a straight here. 5-6 is a straight. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to dodge. Oh yeah, this goes over here too. All right. That is a straight. That's a value bet, right? Okay. So what are your bluffs? You do have to bluff the river. This hand looks pretty good for a bluff. I like busted straight draws for bluffs. The reason I like that is that they're not really blocking anything. The other thing I like here is, I like them because they are blocking stuff, right? So like I just said, 9-10 is a straight. So if you have a 10, you're making it less likely the guy has a straight, right? And more likely he has a hand he's going to be willing to fold, like a king or a jack. Another good thing to do here is any hand with a heart in it is a good bluff because you just took one of the flushes off the table, right? This is not the best bluff here because you're not blocking anything. But yeah, so like a hand like this is a good bluff. I don't know, for some reason you ended up here with jack. No, jack would be a pair. If you had like queen of diamonds, 10 of hearts, that'd be even better, right? Because you got the 10 of hearts that's blocking the flush, right? So any hand that's blocking something good is a good bluff here. So yeah, that's kind of the 4 categories of hands and how they move around throughout the hand and get better or worse.